Welcome, everybody, to the Barnes Brothers College Football Show. I am your host, Jared Barnes, alongside my brother, JT Barnes. I am on the right. JT is on. I'm on the left of your screen. JT's on the right of the screen. I screwed that up. Welcome to the show, though. What an exciting weekend of college football we had. And there were some great games this past weekend. Some great games. A couple major upsets. JT, how'd you feel about the weekend that we just had in college football?
It was good. It was entertaining. A lot of surprises. A lot of one huge upset that I can think of that just kind of blew me away. But it was exciting, and I think we even have a better week coming up.
Yeah, I think so too. There's a lot of very, very good matchups this weekend. But we'll start off with the headlines of the weekend. We'll start at the top with the upsets that you mentioned. Oklahoma and Miami both got upset over the weekend. It was the Sooners' first game in Big 12 play versus Kansas State. They couldn't survive. They couldn't do it. This Sooner team didn't look any better than any Sooner team has looked in the past. It looks like the same pillow fight, not super good defensive mentality that is supposedly supposed to be there. And I'm quite concerned for the Sooners moving forward in Big 12 play, but the Big 12 is extremely deep and talented this year, so I think everybody's concerned about any team in the Big 12. But the Hurricanes then got upset by Middle Tennessee State. Yes, Middle Tennessee State. And it was the Hurricanes' home game. It wasn't like they traveled there. They paid Middle Tennessee State to come in there and cook them, because that's exactly what they did.
It's a trend, I guess.
It's starting to look like a little bit of a trend, and it shouldn't be. And the Canes look extremely, extremely disappointing. They've looked disappointing almost all year. They haven't lived up to expectations, which brings me to ask you this, JT. The Miami Hurricanes play in the ACC Coastal. The North Carolina Tar Heels play in the ACC Coastal. Both those teams looked like trash this past weekend. Is Pitt bound for a berth to the ACC title game?
Well, first off, I want to address North Carolina. Garbage as it is, they really can't do anything besides Drake May. That's only their highlight. But I think Pitt is. Of course, our little bet going on. As long as they don't win, we'll be good. And I think Clemson got that locked down on the Atlantic side.
Yeah, I think Clemson's got the ACC on lock as a whole, but
if not, North Carolina, NC State.
Yeah, North Carolina looked bad. I don't think NC State. I mean, Wake Forest, I thought had a better shot. But let's be honest. Miami, the expectations were really high coming in. Tyler Van Dyke, their quarterback, he's supposed to be this first-round NFL talent. He hasn't looked like that at all. He actually said coming into this week that he enjoys road games more than he likes home games. And they play a home game versus Middle Tennessee State, and he plays like garbage. I'm very concerned for his future as a Miami quarterback because, I mean, at this point, after a loss to Texas A&M, which I understand that you're not as good as Texas A&M. Texas A&M, talent-wise, a top 10 team in the country. They might not be right now, but I think Texas A&M finishes the season a top 10 team in the country. I think they're going to get a couple big wins down the stretch here, Texas A&M. Yeah. I don't think Miami will. I think trouble is still coming from Miami. They still got to play Pitt. I think North Carolina is going to give them problems when they play. I'm very concerned for Miami. But the other team that got upset this weekend, the Oklahoma Sooners, I'm concerned for them because not just them. Texas got upset by Texas Tech. And Texas was fined $50,000. I don't know if you saw this. $50,000 for their action. Texas Tech was for their actions after the game where they rushed the field and, some things occurred. Dana Beers hit the Texas Longhorns mascot with the horns down, which is maybe one of the greatest videos of all time. Shout out Dana Beers.
That's funny. That's so funny.
I mean, Dana Beers is like a 30-year-old man, so I am questioning why he's acting the way he's acting to 18 to 22-year-old cheerleaders and probably whoever knows who's in that mascot uniform, but they're a child. They're a child.
Listen,
and Dana Beers is a 30-year-old adult. But
yeah, he may be old, but listen, you can't get not excited about a game like that. You can't.
No, and especially
the way
with
the hype coming in. Yeah.
But the Big 12 is extremely talented. Kansas is 4-0. Kansas State just beat Oklahoma. Texas Tech's right there. I mean, you had Baylor, Oklahoma State. I mean, you have a conference that looks like it's going to implode on itself. Like, who do you think is right now the best team in the Big 12? Because I don't have an answer.
Yeah, that's a hard answer to choose. But when it comes down to it, there's probably like a top three. You can't count out Oklahoma. I think they did have a bad week, but at the same time, they can bounce back. They're a team with some grit, and they'll grind it out. Kansas State.
I'd say Oklahoma State's and Baylor top echelon right now.
Yeah, and you saw that in the Big 12 championship last year.
Yep.
Very competitive game, came down right to the last play. And Oklahoma, I'm not going to say they're top three. I'll actually probably bump them into top five. But yeah, like you said, Oklahoma State, Baylor, top two teams. It will chisel out through
Texas
the rest
is
of
up
the year.
there. Texas is up there.
Texas
I think if
is up
Quinn
there.
Ewers never gets hurt, they're probably best team in the Big 12.
I agree, but at the same time,
he's hurt.
With those guys on that roster, you need to win some football games.
I agree.
You need to win some football games because that is a talented roster. I mean, you just hung with Bama and you're going to get Texas Tech, drop you like that. Hey, of course, yeah, you come into different games. You got that dog mentality. I mean, I can state, it's a street fight between the whistles. You got to give it 60 minutes. Jeff Brom back WKU days, that's what he did with Bama. That first half was a fight. Second half, not so much, but
it was Western Kentucky, though.
Hey, street fight between the whistles, man.
He's one of the most hilarious entertainers and speakers in all of college football, and he's still a pretty average head coach. To be fair,
he's better.
I love
average,
him. I love him.
He just can't pull the recruits.
Well, he's at Purdue.
Who wants to go to Purdue?
Recruits at Purdue?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's like who wants to go to Lincoln, Nebraska? I mean, it's the same deal.
Exactly. And this weekend, there was a fantastic game we picked wrongly, and yep. I think we honestly both. I think me and you have not been very high on Clemson. We haven't respected Clemson the way we need to respect Clemson. They survived an overtime shootout versus Wake Forest, in my opinion, proving their worth to be in the top 5 right now in college football. DJ Uiagalelei, hey, he proved to me this weekend.
He's stepping up.
He's a primetime quarterback. He threw for 373 yards, 5 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, looked flawless. The defense was hobbled. They had some injuries. The corners were not stopping anything all game. They were just a turnstile the whole game. But they redeemed themselves at the end when Nate Wiggins, who had been flagged for pass interference 3 times in the game. That first drive, I think I saw 2 back-to-back pass interference calls for Wake Forest. Like, Wake Forest was on the offensive side. The first drive I watched of that game, there was 2, maybe 3 pass interferences or defensive holding in the secondary calls on the drive for Wake Forest. And I was like, well, there's no chance that Clemson can win this game is what I thought, if they're going to play like this defensively. And they hung in all game. DJ and Will Shipley answered every time. You good over there?
Yeah. I got a cramp in the hip. That golfing today, man, really did me in.
That's never good. How'd you shoot today? Completely distracted, but how'd you shoot?
Driver was not going today.
That's all right. That's tough.
It was a morning, day on the links. Shot pretty well with the irons. Was chipping her up on with the wedges, getting some nice 1-putts. But driver messed me up, man. It was bad.
What'd you shoot?
I only played 9. I think I only shot. You got to think this is my 3rd time golfing ever.
Yes. So we're not judging. I can't golf either. I
shot like 10 over par.
So what was the number? What was your number? What'd you shoot?
I don't remember. Honestly, I wasn't the one keeping score.
Okay, so we'll say you shot like 60.
No. I didn't shoot 60 because 9 holes, there was no par 5s. It was all par 3 and 4s. So I only shot like 10, maybe 15. I don't know, dude. Those drivers were killing me. But my irons, dude, if I only had a 4 and a 5 iron, I got the 4 and 5 hybrid. I slapped those irons down, man. I was taking some nice 6s. I was throwing them onto the green, man. It was beautiful.
Yeah, and I bet you that Dabo Sweeney is probably really good at golf.
Honestly, I doubt it. He's not too good at many things. I mean, he's not that great at anything, really.
Yeah, he's good at coaching, and I'll
I
take back
mean,
everything I've said about him in the past.
let's. Well, I appreciate that one, even though like I'm a big Bama fan, nothing but respect for Clemson. I mean, he's good at coaching. He's good at bringing assistants. His assistants did the coaching for him. Hot take there. A lot of
I've
people,
said that in the past, though. I've been saying that
but
recently.
when it came to this game, honestly, it shouldn't have been as close as it was. A lot of discipline issues. This was another Alabama-Texas situation, in my opinion.
No,
It was a lot of
Wake Forest is a very talented football team.
they are a very talented football team.
Sam Hartman is a very good quarterback, maybe one
He
of
is
the
a very
best in the
good-
country.
He's one. I think he's top 3 in the ACC.
I think
no
he's
doubt in my
I
mind.
think he's top 5 in the country.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd go that
He's
far.
very
but
impressive.
He is very impressive. DJ Uiagalelei, fantastic game out of him. He stepped up, proved his worth, put on the big boy shoes, and decided he wanted to ride that day. And 373 for 5 TDs, man. That's impressive, especially after the start he's had and the past season he's had.
Yes, and unlike Russell Wilson, the Clemson Tigers and DJ Uiagalelei have decided they want to ride, they want to win games, and they want to play good football.
Russell Wilson just won last night on some garbage.
11-10. It was the worst football game I've ever watched in my life.
Yeah,
Mitch Wisnowski was a great punter, and Waitman, fantastic punter. Worst football game I've ever watched in my life. I fell asleep 4 times.
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
But Mitch Wisnowski, I will say, fantastic leg. I do appreciate it. He had a perfect punt. But moving on, we're not an NFL show. We are a college football show. We mentioned how Dabo, I said that he's a good coach. He's going to have to be a great coach this weekend because Clemson's going to face 10th ranked NC State this weekend. At home, though. This was a win on the road. This was a massive win for Clemson because it's a road win versus a very talented football team. Now, Wake Forest gets their chance to bounce back. But will they? Because they are playing 23rd ranked Florida State. Who are they back? That's the question. We will see because Florida State's going to go through the ringer these next 3 weeks where they play Wake Forest, Clemson, and NC State back to back to back.
That's going to be tough. They're dropping at least 1 or 2.
Playing. They might drop all 3.
They might. They're playing good football, though. They're playing good football.
Jordan Travis looks like he could be a dark horse for the Heisman if he keeps this up.
Let's calm down. There's really no point. I mean, we got a top 3 already. But moving on, keeping it in the South here, Georgia. Shaky game versus Kent State. It was a tight battle. Really good game. Kent State is the only team since 2011, not named Alabama, to score 20 points on the Bulldogs.
I think that's the most interesting.
That's a crazy stat.
That's the most interesting stat I've ever heard.
I appreciate you writing that down because I didn't even know that.
Yes, and when I saw that this weekend, I was like, whoa. Nobody scored 20 points on Georgia that wasn't named Alabama since 2011. Shout out Kent State for not coming in and rolling over to the Bulldogs because they could have.
Yeah.
They could have came in and rolled over because I think it was the first play from scrimmage, Brock Bowers, maybe the most important offensive player to his team in all of college football, took a handoff 75 yards.
Yeah.
He's a tight end. He took a handoff 75 yards. That's impressive. That's why I think he's one of the most important offensive players that any team in the country. Because if he's not on Georgia, I don't think Georgia's offense is anywhere near as good. But after that, a team like Kent State could just roll over and let the Bulldogs literally crush them. And they chose not to, and I respect that so much. Because they impressed me. Like, they're a MAC team. MAC teams are known for their, Kent State's from Ohio. I assume they got a lot of Ohio boys on that team. And, Ohio people are built different, Yeah,
especially they've been on the rise recently, especially high school football players.
Yes.
I mean, Team PA.
Yeah.
But,
we're Pennsylvania boys, but we do respect a few Ohioans. Now
yeah,
and again.
I mean, I prefer to respect Texas, Florida.
I'm talking about the people in general. I'm not talking about football players.
Ohio people are pretty nice.
Very blue collar.
Pretty nice people. I'm more of a fan of Canadians, but that's just me.
Well, I mean that they're blue collar. I don't know how blue collar Canadians are.
I don't know, eh? Never know.
I mean, you never know. You're right. And this past weekend, Texas got upset. Miami got upset. They've dropped out of the top 25. Rightfully so, I'd say. They're both, I believe, 2-2.
Texas, that's just, let me stop you real quick. Texas, that's a shaky win. Obviously, that's a tough game. Texas Tech, all those Big 12 games, Texas Tech, Texas, Oklahoma, always a hard fought battle. Always, who's gonna claw, who wants to win, who wants it more. Uh, don't put the hold on them. They can still come back and win the Big 12 because that was the first. I think that was their first Big 12 matchup. Maybe not their first.
They could, but Quinn needs to be healthy. They don't win without Quinn.
I think they're going to get into a groove, though. I mean, I'm not a Texas believer by any means. I mean, at all.
But not, I mean, right now I can't be.
But yeah, Miami dropping after that. I was talking Miami up on the show the past 2 weeks, maybe even the past 3 weeks. I've been talking them up. That was pathetic. Middle Tennessee State came out and played like absolute dogs. They played phenomenal.
Oklahoma, though, with their loss, they've fallen out of the top 10.
I know.
And a few recognizable teams have climbed their way back into the top 25 due to their wins this past weekend. Florida State, 4-0. They're at 23. They look like they could be back. Now, I'm not the biggest fan of their head coach, Mike Norvell. I think that he's a good head coach, but I think in the ACC, if you want to be competitive, especially in the Atlantic, you have to have a great head coach because Wake Forest is there, NC State is there, Clemson is there. That's a tough division in a very talented conference.
Yeah.
And then Minnesota, they're back in the top 25. They're 4-0. They look good. Row the boat. Hey, row the boat. PJ Fleck knows how to win games.
He does.
I think he's a snake oil salesman as a head coach. He's kind of talking all this talk, but not necessarily always being, the most competitive football team. But hey, his team's 4-0 right now. They're ranked 21st. Shout out to Minnesota. Row the boat, getting back into the top 25. Kansas State, after their win versus Oklahoma, also ranked at 25. All those teams have very important games this weekend. But there's been some very talented players over the last 4 weeks. I don't think either three of those teams have a guy that falls into this category. But over the last 4 weeks, what player to you through this season so far looks like they are a legit Heisman contender?
Well, let's start out with the obvious. Guy that claws, fights, wins. He's on a winning program. Bryce Young, Bama fan here. Bryce Young, you got to add him up there. He won last year. He's playing good this year. You go over to Ohio State and name a bunch of guys, in my opinion.
You could name every receiver on the roster.
Yeah. I would go, quarterback here, but I'm going to go wide receiver. Jackson Smith-Njigba, he's going to come up. He's going to start playing like an absolute dog. Of course, he dealt with that injury earlier in the season, but after he's like 100% full, he's going to play out of his mind. Got to go back down.
When he's fully healthy, I do believe he will fly back up that list, but
they're not going to give him the credit he deserves. With 3 games kind of down, it is what it is. Taking another trip down south, right there to Tuscaloosa. Will Anderson has played out of his mind. Not as much as last season, but he's an absolute dog. He's an absolute dog, Will Anderson. But
great
going
defender.
to one of my guys that I follow, who didn't have a great weekend, Caleb Williams, though. Caleb Williams, definitely a Heisman contender. Those are the guys that come up, but a dark horse, some may see it as a dark horse, some may not. Stetson Bennett. He's that guy down in Georgia. He's going to start stepping up in these bigger games. When they start playing these SEC rivals, these top 10, these top 15, these top 20 teams that are all there in the SEC East, you're going to see him. Yes, he may struggle with Kent State this week. It's going to be a steam-rolling party. You'd think that Georgia's going to be Purdue with the Boilermakers, man, about to run people over with that freight train. But Stetson Bennett's going to go. He's legit. He's that guy. He's going to be top 5 finish in the Heisman. Mark my words.
I don't even think he's the best offensive player on his team, but to be fair, I think Brock Bowers should be more in the Heisman conversation than Stetson Bennett. But Stetson Bennett, extremely talented, and I love him as a player. He's a former walk-on. You love to see that kind of story, right? A guy right now that I think should be the Heisman favorite. He's on a 4-0 team. Hendon Hooker from Tennessee, Tennessee's quarterback.
Yeah,
Outdueled Anthony Richardson this past weekend. He's fantastic. I love watching him play. Didn't really know who he was until I watched the Pitt game because I'm not a Vols guy, right? There's been a couple really good country songs about the, Tennessee and Tennessee Orange and White that have dropped recently, and I begin to become a slight fan of Tennessee just because of those songs, right? And been watching Hendon Hooker over the last couple weekends. No, you hate country, but there's
no,
people.
I hate Tennessee.
I like the color orange. I like Peyton Manning, and Hendon Hooker's impressed me. So
Yeah,
I
hey,
think
I was talking him up.
I think Hendon Hooker's a pretty legit, Heisman contender at this point. I think a guy that's not getting enough buzzed in that Heisman conversation is Blake Corum, the Michigan running back. He's pretty much carrying that team on his back. I know J.J. McCarthy's good. We talked about J.J. McCarthy through, I think, every single show. But Blake Corum is the guy. He stepped in to start, and he became the full-time starting running back after sharing time last year with and his name's I'm blanking on his name right now. He's in the NFL now, though. But Blake Corum has stepped up and been that guy. He's been extremely impressive, in my opinion. And a guy that's really climbed up the rankings is Jalen Daniels, the quarterback of Kansas. I don't think he'll finish. I don't know if he's a legit Heisman contender right now, but I've been very impressed by Jalen Daniels because, Kansas is 4-0. We haven't said that since 2007.
Dude, I don't know.
You were 3. I didn't even watch college football.
Yeah, 2007, was that the last time they were 4-0?
That's the last time Kansas was good. 2007.
I was about to say, I don't think I've ever seen them undefeated 4-0 while I've been alive. Yes, that's only 18 years, but still.
They were competing. I do believe in 2007, they were competing for a national championship. That was the weirdest year in college football history. There was so many upsets that year. If you were the number 2 seed, you had no chance at winning a game because the number 2 seed lost, I think, 5 or 6 games, just straight.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, and Kansas finished 12-1 in 2007. So they were extremely talented. And it's been all the way since then. They haven't been that good since then. So Jalen Daniels has been impressive to me as well. Stetson Bennett, yes, that's another name. I think Dylan Gabriel's been very good too. But really, I don't think any of those guys have the shot that Hendon Hooker, C.J. Stroud, and Bryce Young would have.
C.J. Stroud, such a beast. But hey, we'll see what happens with it.
It's going to be very interesting. And we're what, a quarter of the way through the season, right? Or somewhat like that. A third or so. And, Appalachian State lost this weekend to James Madison, and I'd like to correct myself. On the show on Thursday that we did, we mentioned that James Madison was playing Appalachian State, and we both failed to realize, we knew it, but failed to say it at the time for whatever reason. James Madison is not an FCS team. They are an FBS team. Currently, they are in the Sun Belt Conference. And they look like they could possibly even win the Sun Belt Conference, to be honest with you, with their win over Appalachian State. But with App State losing, you now look every single year, a non-Power 5 team, the highest ranked non-Power 5 team, is given a bid to a New Year's 6 bowl game, right? My question is, with Appalachian State losing, Marshall, I think they lost after they played Notre Dame. They're now they have 2 losses as well. It's kind of wide open for a non-Power 5, a group of 5 team to take that spot to represent the group of 5 in a New Year's 6 bowl. If that happens this year, I'm not sure if that happens every year, but I do believe the highest ranked one normally gets a New Year's 6 bowl. What group of 5 team currently do you think has a legitimate chance of doing that?
Yeah, you kind of put out App State saying that they probably won't make it. I disagree.
2 losses, it's kind of tougher.
I think they could. I haven't seen the schedule. Listen, I'm not going to lie. A bunch of these non-Power 5 teams are playing these Power 5 programs, especially I've seen so many games. This is every year, though. You see so many games being played against, cakewalk non-Power 5 teams playing the big boys like Bama and them. But I don't even, I think they're going to have to go in with a 2-loss team, maybe even 3, if they even get in. I just don't see teams going undefeated unless they have a cakewalk schedule. And at that point, will they have a respect for them?
Who knows? I think Western Kentucky has a legitimate chance.
I'd love to see it. But you never know. I don't know. How Houston's doing this year, but they always
Two and
got
two,
my
two
respect.
and two.
Mm.
They have Dana Holgerson though, so like that's a good thought process. But I don't know. James Madison's 4-0.
Yeah, James Madison can make it. Of course, they're in like
The
the
Sun
dirt.
Belt's got a
They're in
little
the
bit of
dirt of
talent.
the F. They're in the dirt of the FBS.
Well, no, I'd say that's probably where Western Kentucky is. I'd say the Conference USA is a step below the Sun Belt at this point.
I'd say they're some years they're here, some
No,
little
I
flip
mean
flop.
Marshall dipped out of the Conference USA. Marshall was in the Conference USA and they left as fast as they could, which tells me bad things about this Conference USA. I mean, Texas State, I do believe, is in the Conference USA, so that tells you everything you
Oh,
need to know.
that's pretty bad. Yep.
Yeah. So yeah,
That's pretty bad.
yeah. I could be wrong there. I'm not as caught up on Group of 5 teams. I mean, the American Athletic Conference always has a chance to have that team be.
Yeah.
I mean,
How's Memphis doing?
It could be Cincinnati again. Who knows?
I don't know. I mean, if Memphis is doing good like they have in the past,
I'll
they
be
might be another team.
I'll be intrigued to see what Group of 5 team gets to represent, and that team normally plays very well.
They do
when they do get the chance in that bowl game, and it's always impressive to me. So I'll be intrigued to see because I enjoy that story of the little guy, the underdog that's not supposed to win these games. It just does. I mean, it's one of my favorite things in the world. But last question. Well, now we got 2 more questions before we get into my takeaways from the weekend. What teams do you have making the playoffs right now, 4 weeks through the season?
2 right now, obviously.
2 guarantees right now.
Bama, Georgia.
That's your guarantees.
Guarantees.
Ohio State's not a guarantee for you?
Ohio State, it's crazy. I think this is one of the most odd years ever.
I don't think Bama is a guarantee.
Shut your mouth.
I don't.
Listen, I'm not talking bad about my team. That's just how it is.
I respect that, but I don't think Bama is a guarantee.
Bama, Georgia, coming in odd. You don't see this often. You won't see it in any picks. Ohio State, Michigan.
See, if that happens, they need to expand. They need to expand the playoffs the next year.
Exactly.
They need to expand the playoffs for 2024.
But tell me, is that not that's not a ridiculous statement to hear?
No, it could happen. It could happen.
Exactly.
If Michigan wins out
and
beats Ohio State, that's their only chance.
As long as USC keeps it up, listen, they might have had they had a little fall off week. They're gonna get back in that groove. They're gonna start sliding in.
We'll see. I don't believe in. I like their defense. I still question.
They can win the Pac-12 championship though, and that's all they really need. As long as they only have 1 loss, that's all they need.
Can they though?
Yes.
They play Washington, and Washington's scary.
Washington is playing good, but we've seen what Washington's done when it comes to actual games that matter.
This is different now. I believe it's different now. This isn't Jake Browning. This is Michael Penix Jr.
Okay, well, Jake Browning was a heck of a quarterback.
Jake Browning,
he scored 10 points
steady.
on Bama.
Very steady.
He scored 10 points on Bama in the
and so did Mike
playoff.
White, I think. Mike White scored 10 points on Bama at one point in his
career. That was a season.
So, where's Mike White right now? Where's Jake Browning right now?
Well, Mike White got thrown in the dirt in that game, but it is what it is. Got suplexed.
That's true. That's true.
Tried to honestly, kill him. Those four teams, it's tough to say that you're going to have 2 SEC teams and 2 Big Ten teams. Those are the best 4 teams in football right now. But hear me out. ACC, you're going to have somebody rise up. This week is a determinant, in my opinion.
Clemson.
Is a determinant. As long as Clemson wins, they're there. They're there.
Well, here's my take. Ohio State is the best team in the country. Right now, they're the best team in the country.
Okay.
We have not seen their offense healthy at all.
I don't think that matters.
Jackson Smith-Njigba has not played pretty much at all. Marvin Harrison Jr. is there. They have a third guy, and I can't say his name. I forgot how to say his name. It's a tough name to say. But he dominated this weekend. What
Whatever
is
his
it?
name is. I don't know what it is, honestly.
A, a,
And Nick,
a
yeah,
Gug? I
I
can't
don't.
say it. It's very tough for me to say because
Regard.
I don't want to
Listen,
butcher his name because I got a lot of respect for him at receiver.
first off, Ohio State is not the best
They
team in the
have
country.
dogs. They have dogs outside. They have a great
Yeah,
defense.
the Dogs are the number 1 team in the country. Let's calm down.
Listen,
Let's calm down.
they made Wisconsin look like a cakewalk team.
Wisconsin's unranked
Wisconsin's
for a reason.
Wisconsin's probably one of the top 6-7 teams in the Big Ten.
Actually, I think you're disrespecting them a little bit, but this season maybe.
Well,
But
Michigan's
they're
better.
on-
Ohio State's better. Penn State's better.
Maryland's better. This year.
Maryland is not better.
Maryland is better this year.
You're crazy. You're a nut job.
You don't know what you're talking
You
about.
are a nut job. This guy right here, right there, is crazy. Maryland is not better than Wisconsin.
Well, hey, do they play this season?
Although, to be fair, they do have a better quarterback. I'd take Talia before I took Graham Mertz.
Hey, all I gotta say is maybe they should start throwing Cade Giacomelli around, man. What a beast.
Yeah.
You didn't play him, dude. You didn't play him. You don't know what's
Does
up.
he actually get playing time?
I don't think. He's a freshman, man.
He's a freshman this year?
Yes.
All right, I'd like to see what he does in the future, but
You
I
know,
don't know.
he had one of the top 5 fastest 40s among the entire team as a freshman. Some of the top bench numbers as a freshman, even comparing to some of the lineman numbers.
well,
That's all I
Giacomelli was a dog, dude.
Yeah, I mean,
That-
he
the
ran
pen
me
trapper.
over. Still
He-
tackled him, but ran me over. Still a beast.
That's okay.
State champs.
We got one final question before we get into my takeaways, and that is, what top 10 team to you right now looks like they are not worthy of a spot in the top 10?
This one's easy. I mean, they're dealing with some stuff, down south, but Kentucky.
Wow,
Not-
we have
not
the
hard.
same. We have the same one.
Not hard. Not
Wow.
hard. It's Kentucky.
They're gonna get exposed this weekend too.
I think they're going to play up.
They don't. They're gonna play up. They don't have the team to. They don't have the team to compete with Ole Miss. They don't.
They're going to play up. I agree. Ole Miss, Lane Kiffin, he's that guy.
I love Kentucky. I love Stoops. I love their story. I love their quarterback. They do not have the team to compete with Ole Miss. Ole Miss
Yeah.
is going to blow them out of the water this weekend. Mark my words. If I'm wrong, we'll come up with a punishment for me next week on the show.
Buzz cut, middle of the show.
I'm not doing a buzz cut. I am not doing a buzz cut. That is insane. That is an insane thing for me to do. Now, if
Not
Pitt
not allowed to shave the rest of the season.
like to make it, well, I can't do that because my school would.
Oh,
Yeah, I can't
Buzz
do
cut.
that.
buzz
I
cut.
can't do a buzz cut. I cannot do a buzz cut. Now, I'd like to make a bet with you though. If Pitt wins the ACC championship game, will you get a buzz cut?
I already got something coming my way.
Okay, that's true. That's true. We don't have to discuss that one, but let's just get into my takeaways from the weekend. My first takeaway, I'd like to apologize to DJ Uyangalele for all the terrible things I've said about him being a bad quarterback.
It was 1 week. Hold on. Let's calm down. It was 1 week. Stop praising him. He decided he'd hit a stride. Don't praise
It's
him
been
like
all
that
year.
this world.
It's been all year. He's proved me wrong. Every single game, he's proved me wrong. I assumed week 1 he'd lose his job to Cade Klubnik, and he didn't. He played very well. He's a primetime quarterback, and I need to quit giving him crap. Okay? That's just my takeaway. My second takeaway. Texas is not back. Oklahoma does not have the defense I thought they did. The Big 12 is completely wide open. Completely wide open. It's anybody's conference to win right now. And yeah, Ohio State, my third one. Ohio State's the best team in the country. They look completely unstoppable. And I think this could be the year Ryan Day gets it done. Just my opinion. My fourth takeaway. Bama's not the team we thought they were. Just doing that to troll JT,
Hey,
but
They just covered the spread and more against Vanderbilt. I get that it was Vanderbilt, but 55-3. Just saying.
yeah, I thought Vanderbilt would have put up more of a fight. I thought Vanderbilt would have
55-3. Yeah, me too.
I thought
actually.
Vanderbilt would have scored at least 10.
55-3, man.
Yeah. I was very disappointed with the Vanderbilt's play, but Vanderbilt did make a quarterback change recently. I love Mike Wright, their other quarterback, number 5. I think he's athletic, but he just wasn't getting it done. Sad for him, but yeah. Moving on to the players we're following, though, I'll get right into my guys first. I'll start off with Keaton Slovis. Pitt didn't need him this weekend, which is a real shame. Pitt sat their best receiver. I wasn't sure if it was due to injury or what, but Pitt ran the ball 47 times this weekend versus Rhode Island. They threw the ball 27 times. So they didn't need Slovis to win this game. Israel Abanikanda pretty much carried the team on his back, right? Slovis completed 20 of his 27 passes, though, for 189 yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions, which is what they need out of him the rest of the year if they actually would like to win or possibly play in the ACC championship game. They just need steady quarterback play with little to no error, okay, but just steady. They don't need Kenny Pickett. They need somewhere in between Kenny Pickett, okay, and Tom Savage. Somewhere in between there is exactly what Pitt's looking for.
Man, I haven't heard that name forever.
If you give me something in between Kenny Pickett and Tom Savage, I'll be happy.
That's a heck of a quarterback.
That is a very talented quarterback because both were NFL quarterbacks, both drafted. Kenny Pickett, the future franchise of the Pittsburgh Steelers, but
make me vomit even more, man.
Make you vomit even more, you say?
Yep.
But moving on, looks like someone got an ESPN notification.
Indeed.
Don't get us copyright. Don't get a copyright hit against us because we do not own the rights to that music. Jeez.
My bad, ESPN. My bad.
Apologize to the king. Psych. No, I don't really like ESPN to be fair, but I'll give them their respect though because they are the number one in the sports world. Even if First Take now is maybe the worst show of all time, but love you, Stephen A. But the show is just not good. Change it somehow, please. We'll get into Jordan Addison though. I won't talk about First Take and my feelings about Stephen A. and how his show is going completely downhill.
Yeah, we got it, buddy.
Ever since he kicked Max Kellerman to the side. But listen, Jordan Addison, they played Oregon State. And like we've mentioned earlier, they struggled a little bit. The offense was kind of stuck in the mud all game. Caleb Williams didn't necessarily perform all that great, but neither did the rest of the offense. I do believe his name's Travis Dye, their running back. He had to put the team on his back. He ran the ball a lot more than he's used to getting the ball in the game. And since Oregon State held Williams in check all game, it led to not a lot of production by Addison. He did get 6 catches. I do believe he had 63 yards, but he did score the late go-ahead touchdown, proving that he is the guy that Williams wants to go to in a clutch game situation, which to me is awesome. And great to hear because I think Addison's just phenomenal, and he's one of my favorite players in college football currently. But the late go-ahead touchdown was awesome because it proved, and it was something USC maybe needed because USC hasn't struggled with anybody all year. They've kind of proven their worth. They needed this kind of game right here to kind of show that they can come from behind. They can get a good victory. Although Addison didn't really do a whole lot, I was impressed with the late game-winning touchdown, go-ahead touchdown at the end. And then we'll go into my last player, Western Kentucky quarterback Austin Reed. Listen, Western Kentucky played no games this last weekend. The whole team dominated. Austin Reed threw for 381 yards and 5 touchdowns, 0 picks. He went 29 of 35. Played extremely well. Western Kentucky won 73-0. Austin didn't have to do anything on the ground. He threw all game. Didn't even have to play the whole game. Got to go sit down, take a break, rest, give the other quarterback some playing time. What a guy, right?
Yeah.
Austin played very well, though.
Heck of a win.
73-0 win is very impressive.
Yeah,
I don't care who you're playing. If you beat a team 73-0, don't allow them in the end zone. That's an impressive win as a team.
Bama doesn't do that. They usually let up at least 3 points.
Yeah,
so good for WK.
Well, they are playing SEC teams, and we just played Florida International Panthers. So, FIU, shout out them.
Dang,
played them.
FIU just went downhill. Wow.
Yeah, that's a bad game. That's a bad game, but I'm sure FIU will bounce back. But Western Kentucky looks very good right now, and the offense is clicking on all cylinders.
Well, moving on from somebody that, something that looks good and someone who doesn't. Man, I'm just done with him, man. I'm done with him. Spencer Rattler is so garbage. It's not even funny. Like, you want me to go down to South Carolina, buddy? You want me to get the call commander on the field with me, and I'll start throwing dots? Like, what are you doing? Seriously. Like, your average QBR right now is literally like 30. Seriously.
I forgot. Who did he play this weekend? Who did he play?
Charlotte.
The 49ers.
The 49ers. You want to know something? He had no
That's
touchdowns.
That's Alex Highsmith's alma mater.
He had no touchdowns.
Did he get benched?
He went 17 to 23 for 187.
Did they win?
Yes, they won 56 to 20.
Well, they didn't. They obviously ran the ball. They didn't need. Nor did
I
they
don't
want.
care.
They didn't want him to throw the football. It's the same thing with Slovis versus Rhode Island. They didn't want him to throw the football.
Still, man, like, you're playing Charlotte. Give me a touchdown. Come on, you know I'm talking about you on the show every week. Come on.
I don't think he does. I don't think he does.
Well, he needs to learn because I'll start trashing him right to his face.
I don't think you would. I
He
think
looks
you
like
have
Drake's kid.
I think you
My
have.
goodness.
I think you have such an admiration for Spencer
I do.
Rattler that you would probably
Love the guy. Love the guy.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think you'd praise him right to his face.
I would. He's a beast, but
Not
Also-
not in the SEC.
he wasn't a beast. He was decent in the Big 12, but there's some garbage defense. But moving on, Caleb Williams, guy who had a struggle game in a 17-14 win over Oregon State, obviously handing Oregon State their first loss of the season, went 16 for 36.
Yep, the offense was stuck in the mud like I mentioned earlier.
That's a 44% completion. He had 108 yards, no picks though. He has had 0 picks this season.
It's impressive.
That is impressive. His QBR was 55.4. I mean, hey, you got the win. You squeezed
That's
it out.
average. That's
Keep
average.
rolling. Keep rolling.
That's not a passing grade in college, but that's average.
Hey, guy who had his highest QBR of the season, JT Daniels. He went 20 of 30, 203, 1 TD. Pretty simple, 85.5 QBR. Gotta love the guy. Man, is he a beast. His picture on ESPN, his picture that he got for the team, not flattering whatsoever. Just want to throw that out there. If anybody wants to go take a look at that. Man, is that thing ugly.
It is not flattering. He doesn't. I'll be fair. He doesn't look great in the WVU uniform either.
Yeah, I mean, he looked so stupid when he said Mountaineer
Nation. Let's ride.
That's right. Yeah, that was so stupid, man.
Like
I just wanted to sack him, rip through that offensive line that's so poor. Hit him with a swim move, maybe a push pull.
How did Bryce Ford Wheaton play? I know you're kind of watching him at this point too.
Got his stats up, man. Awful week. He was, I think, the 5th or 6th receiving.
Who'd they play?
They played Virginia Tech. Good win, 33-10.
Oh yeah, they did play Virginia Tech because I think we talked
Thursday
about that.
night.
How it was a Thursday night game. Grant Wells did not play all that great for Virginia Tech, and West Virginia was able to squeak by with a win.
Yeah, but Bryce Ford Wheaton went for 3 catches, 23 yards.
Virginia Tech held him in his own.
Yeah, he did. I mean, they did. Yeah, hey, good for them. Man, was I disappointed with Spencer Rattler.
Well, you've said that every single week since you started following him.
But man, I love the guy. What a beast.
Not a beast. He's not a beast.
All right. Well, hey, let's get into our last segment here.
He's a practice squad quarterback in the NFL.
I take that.
I'd take it.
You wouldn't take that?
I'd take it too. But
you're not that guy, pal.
This is a 5. This is a generational changing quarterback coming out of high school supposedly, and he has not been that at all.
Elite 11 winner. Don't forget that. Look at the past Elite 11 winners.
5-star.
Look at the past Elite 11 winners.
Lincoln Riley's handpicked successor to Kyler Murray. No, Jalen Hurts, my bad.
Yeah, Jalen Hurts, buddy. But
Well,
funny enough, I think Jalen Hurts won the Elite 11. I think Tua Tagovailoa won the Elite 11.
What about Talia?
Talia won What's the name of the high school team down in Tuscaloosa? A state championship. Thompson won Thompson the state championship.
Hey, I'll tell you this. We didn't talk about the
That's about it.
Michigan-Maryland game at all. I'm a big fan of Talia Tagovailoa.
He makes me want to vomit.
I know you're not because you were kind of frustrated with Tua the entire time he was at Alabama too. You love the guy, but you were frustrated with him because you thought Jalen was better.
I mean, he stepped in that Georgia game in the SEC championship and showed that
Well,
he was.
I mean, you got to remember though that Tua's
Hey.
situation with the ankle and all that.
Tua's never been the same after the ankle and the hip.
Yeah, but I mean, Tua's looking like that guy right now for Miami.
Tua is, but of course, this is a college football show, so please be quiet. Anyways.
Yeah, we'll move on to the next thing because, again, I do get distracted by the NFL because I love the NFL. I love the NFL.
I like it for fantasy. That's about it. Nothing better.
That's a shame. That's a shame. You're really missing out on better football, to be fair. But college football is fantastic. I love college football. But the NFL trumps the SEC on any given Sunday.
Well, I mean, the SEC doesn't play on Sunday, so obviously it would. Exactly. I got you on that one.
I mean, that's
Anyways,
facts, but
moving on.
the quality of football is much higher.
Dude, they're all pros. It should be. It should be. But I got to watch my Nick Saban. Got to get a kick of Nick Saban.
That's fair. You got a program to run. Huh?
Yeah, got a program to run.
Quit asking.
Yeah. Not going to disrespect either of the guys. Quit asking. I can't make it. But that one dude, I can't remember his name. Old quarterback for him. Can. Anyways, games we're watching and picks.
What are you talking about? What are you talking about?
Dude. There was a video. Somebody did an impersonation of Nick Saban. I think it was might have actually been Bolden, but not the Bolden an old Bolden.
It wasn't Slade Bolden.
No, it wasn't Slade Bolden.
Where's he at now? Is he still on Bama's roster?
Yeah, he's still there.
He is? That's good. Yeah. That's good. There's two. He's a very talented, crafty wide receiver, just the same as I think it's McCockney. He's on Georgia. He's also quick and he's shifty too. Not the fastest.
Hey, whatever happened to Calvin Ridley's brother?
He's out of the NFL, I do believe.
He was a beast.
He went to no, he wasn't.
He was a beast.
Riley Ridley, I think was his name.
Yeah, Riley Ridley.
Yeah, he got drafted to Chicago, so his career was immediately.
Oh well, you got to feel bad for the guy. That's not on him.
Mitchell Trubisky was his quarterback, so we've seen how he is. We've seen how he is with wide receivers. So
hey, gotta feel bad for Calvin. He better close his ears real quick. We're gonna make our game picks of the week. Make sure he ain't betting on any of this.
Well, he can bet on this. He can't bet on NFL teams.
I know. I'm just trying to make a joke there, man.
I know.
Appreciate you ruining it.
I'm sorry.
we got number 15 Washington, who's 4-0, taking on UCLA with Dorian Thompson-Robinson at the helm. Washington 3.5-point favorites.
Great little memory. You remember the quarterback for UCLA.
He's a beast, man. That's why he's a beast.
He is pretty good. Washington's favored by 3.5 though.
Yeah, I got Washington actually covering that and more. Washington, easy pick here.
I've been hyping Washington up for a while. I'm taking Washington. You're going to take Washington and are you taking Washington? Well, you're just taking them to cover okay. Well, you can't
take the money line.
You can't take them to win it. You're going to take the money line or you're going to take the.
I take the money line. You're
just going to take Washington straight up?
Yeah.
Okay. I am as well.
All right, moving on.
You've heard me talk highly about Washington because I believe in Michael Penix Jr. a lot. I think he will show up in this game, a road game in Los Angeles this weekend. I'm excited for it.
Yeah. Got number 7 Kentucky at number 14 Ole Miss. The boys down there in blue and red. Lane Kiffin. Who you got?
Me? Well, thanks for asking. I think Ole Miss is going to – they're 6.5-point spread. Ole Miss is favored. Okay? I think this is a no-brainer to me. Ole Miss is a much better football team. Okay? Lane Kiffin, much better offense. Jackson Dart, much better quarterback than Will Levis. Okay? Ole Miss to cover, 6.5.
I agree. I'm not going to agree with all those statements, but I agree on the Ole Miss to cover 6.5 here.
So we're going same again here.
Probably going to go same here as well. Actually, so Texas Tech at number 25 Kansas State.
I think this is where we go different.
I got Kansas State with the win. They will not cover the 8-point spread. Take Texas Tech to keep it close
So you're taking Kansas State.
for the win.
Okay.
They're not going to cover that.
But
spread of
Texas
8.
Tech to cover.
Yep.
I got Texas Tech winning.
I think you're a little bold for that statement, pal.
I mean, to be fair, I like Texas Tech. I enjoy Kansas State. Kansas State's a much more physical team. I think Texas Tech can handle Kansas State. But then again, we didn't mention it at the top. I went 1-7 last week, and I told everybody to fade me. And if you would have faded me, you would have had a miraculous weekend betting. Not that we're making these picks and actually betting, but JT went 5-5. He went, 500. This is a year-long competition from this point, okay? I did so poorly that there's a chance I never come back. So I'm going to take these shots and just assume that Texas Tech's going to win. Just because if Texas Tech wins, you technically get a win because you have Texas Tech covering the spread. So that sucks for me, but.
Yeah. But moving on, got Bama at Arkansas. 17-point spread here. Bama the favorites. I got Bama, and I should take straight up money line. They're going to blast past that. I think they're going to win by 24-31 here.
You think it's a 7-point game, though? Oh, you think they're going to win by 24 or 31?
Yes.
Oh, wow. So you got Bama minus 17?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
I don't feel that confident, to be fair, on Bama.
You should. I'm not even saying that just because I'm a Bama fan.
But I'm going to take Bama. I'm obviously not stupid. I'm not going to take KJ Jefferson and his ability to not throw a football. Okay. So I'll just take Bama, but I don't know if they'll cover. So I'm not the most confident in Bama this year. I don't think they have the wide receivers they've had in the past, and the speed on the outside has been a problem.
They don't.
I don't think they have a legit running back either. But the defense I love. Will Anderson I love. So I'm going to take Bama. The next
McKinstry.
Kool-Aid McKinstry. What a smart move to change his name to Kool-Aid and get that NIL deal.
Yeah, good for him, man. Oh yeah. All right. I'm hoping nobody watches that. I'm hoping everybody just listens to that because it looks way better. I definitely look like an idiot saying that.
You did.
But we got number 9, Oklahoma State, taking on Baylor at home.
Oh, jeez. Nothing. We're good. That didn't get caught on the mic, did it?
Nah. I kind of imagine what happened there, buddy.
I farted. Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah,
My bad.
All right, man. Okay. Yep.
I apologize, anybody listening. I just got completely distracted and was hoping it wouldn't get caught on the mic. I was hoping a Dan Orlovsky situation wouldn't happen to me.
Baylor, Baylor, the favorites here at 2.5.
They're playing Oklahoma State to be number 9 Oklahoma State at number 16 Baylor. I completely sidetracked this and kind of made me forget that you said Oklahoma State was playing them. So I just want to say that to clear everything up.
I got Oklahoma State winning.
Okay. Wow. Okay.
I don't even know why Baylor's the favorites. Oklahoma State's look pretty solid this year. I get that Baylor's, this is a little rematch of the Big 12 championship last year. Baylor took the win. It's tight.
I'm honestly not sure which direction I lean because I love Spencer Sanders, Oklahoma State's quarterback. He's been there a long time. But I like Baylor a lot. I'm going to go Baylor. I'm going to go Baylor to cover.
I was about to say 2 cover, 2.5 point spread. That's an easy, if you're going to pick a team, you got to pick them to cover.
Yeah, I feel like this game could come down to a field goal at the end.
Yeah.
I think it could be a tie ball game, field goal to win it, wins. If it's a 1-point ball game and Baylor kicks it, I'll just kill myself. But
okay, let's calm down, man. We got number 22, Wake Forest, at number 23, Florida State. What was Wake Forest ranked last week?
I believe they were like 12.
Was it 12? No, I don't
So,
think it was 12.
I don't know. They
Thought
weren't in
they
the
were
top 10.
I thought they were in the 20s.
No. They were much higher than that. They were much higher than that. Let me check for you. I'll double check.
I thought they were 24 there, but
No, they were definitely. They didn't go up in the rankings.
I was about to say they should have.
No, they
If
went
Texas
down.
went up,
Well, I mean, that's just because
Clemson played out of their minds.
That's because the people that they were ranked. Oh, they were ranked 21st. You're right.
Oh, they only dropped.
They only went down one. They only went down one. That's all right. But like to be fair, the people that vote for the AP poll, as much as much respect I have for those writers and stuff like that, they do believe that Nick Saban is Jesus Christ. So
he is. All right. Number 22, Wake Forest at Florida State. Number 23, Florida State, 7-point favorites here. Got Wake Forest all day. Sam Hartman, that guy. Florida State, not them. We in the Bay. You know what I mean?
I know exactly what you mean, and I love Sam Hartman. I really do. That was an emotional win. Listen, it's Florida State's a tough environment. Tallahassee's a tough place to play. Okay, Florida right now. Prayers up to anybody in Florida. Hope you guys all remain safe. Tallahassee, this game could be a tough game to throw the ball. There's a hurricane coming. Hurricane Ian's about to hit Florida. I think Tallahassee might get hit, and if that happens, the amount of rain that is going to the amount of rain that Tallahassee is going to get, that field is going to be a muddy mess probably. I could be wrong because Hurricane Ian could shoot a different direction. Who knows where it might go, right? But I'm taking that into account. I'm taking Florida State to win. I don't know if it's going to be a close game or not. I don't feel the most confident in taking Wake Forest to cover, but I'll take Florida State to win.
All right, man.
And I think you didn't know, you kind of didn't realize about the hurricane thing.
Oh, I knew.
Okay. I think Pensacola area where I am at is safe. So hopefully I don't want to get hit by a hurricane. Never experienced one. Don't want to either. So, but I'll take Florida State to win this game. I think playing down there in that environment in that stadium in Tallahassee is a tough bill for anybody to handle, especially Wake Forest after such an emotional loss. Only 1 week removed.
I think that's why they bring it in and they win this one.
I think that's actually why they lose.
Well, I guess we'll see.
I think Hartman's a dog, though. And if the weather's not terrible, it's going to be really tough for Florida State.
Wake Forest could run the ball, though, man. They can.
They can. I mean, the way Sam Hartman does those read options, though.
He's that guy, man.
I haven't talked about that a lot. It drives me nuts because he hangs on the ball for so much longer than I think anybody else in the league. He does that RPO and hangs on the ball for at least 3 seconds. Like he's pretty much already up. He's pretty much at the center's butt when he hands the ball off. Then he has to drop back again. I love watching it, but man, that's like kind of annoying for me.
Well, that's you, man. Triple option, read option, little RPO. All a lot of fun for Sam Hartman. He's that guy. Regardless,
I love him, but
we got number 10, NC State, going on the road, playing at Clemson. Clemson 7-point favorites here. Should be more. Clemson to cover with the win.
I'm going to just let you take Clemson to cover. Oh, you want Clemson to win and to cover, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll let you do both. I'm going to just do Clemson. I'll do Clemson to cover too. I'll do Clemson to cover. Just because I'm not letting you get 2 there. I'm not letting you get 2 on me there if that happens.
Well, dude, hey, man, I'm not gonna get you to take. I didn't want to. I'm just saying, dude. If Clemson covers, they're gonna win. So I mean, that's kind of a given.
That's true. That's
kind of a given.
That's true. All right, we'll just do. I'm not gonna pick Clemson to cover. I'm just doing Clemson to win because I don't know if they will. Sorry, bro. It's been a long day. Long day.
Yeah,
it's a long show today. Our longest so far, 59 minutes, 30 seconds. We're probably going to go for another 10 if I had to guess. So,
not that many games left. We got West Virginia at Texas. Texas drops out. Texas 7.5-point favorites. I got West Virginia. I got the Mountaineer boys going down Longhorn Stadium. Whatever the stadium's called. We're calling it Longhorn Stadium.
I don't believe it's called Longhorn Stadium.
That is now,
But-
buddy.
I guess so. I'm taking Texas.
That's an easy pick.
I'm taking Texas. You have to take West Virginia. You are, I do believe, legally required because you're following JT Daniels. So
I had a little bit of Bryce Ford Wheaton action. I'm actually just going to take West Virginia to cover.
okay, I mean that's a fair one.
Rather than them just straight up winning, but
Yeah, that's fair because
got
7.5 is an interesting number.
Yeah, 7.5 is an interesting number. It could be 7. That's what I think it will come down to. Numbers. I think the numbers change throughout the week, right?
Yeah, but we're taking it at what we have today.
All right, cool. Iowa State at Kansas, a 3-1 ball club going against Kansas, who's 4-0. Iowa State only 3.5-point favorites. Iowa State not with the powering offense, which they never really have.
Never.
Kansas.
At least they don't have Brock Purdy anymore, you know?
I really don't want to do this, but I'm going to do it. Really don't want to. Chugga, chugga. Kansas train, baby. Rolling through. Going to get that W. 5-0.
Yikes. Wow.
Don't want to do it.
That's not what
Don't want to do it.
at all. You don't want to do it.
No, but I'm doing it.
You just think Kansas is going to go 5-0.
I think so, man. I think they got that dog grit nitty mentality, man.
I think this is a game that makes the Big 12 even more interesting than it already is. I think Iowa State wins, which knocks them to 4-1. Kansas would also then be 4-1, which Baylor would be then, I think, 4-1, depending upon their results of their game as well. Like, it's going to be a very interesting weekend, to say the least, in the Big 12, because there's a lot of Big 12 teams playing each other, and the Big 12's rankings could be completely flipped upside down in one weekend.
Yeah, there are a lot.
So I'm taking Iowa State.
Then comes to our last game here.
Our final game.
2-2, Troy Trojans, right?
Yeah, that is correct. You have played them. You have played them quite a bit, I do believe, in the NCAA 13 Road to Glory with your Western Kentucky quarterback.
I have. I also just played.
I've done the same thing as well.
I'm not going to say his last name on here, but create a new Road to Glory guy the other night. Name's Mike. What a beast. Too bad. You know, he ended up committing to University of North Carolina. You know, after playing FCS East in the first game, he decided to take the job. First string, led them to the national title game, and lost to Texas A&M. I was punching the air.
What team are you playing? What team is he on?
North Carolina. The Tar
North
Heels.
Carolina. Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
We ended up losing that game with 1 second left. They kicked a field goal.
Ah, that's terrible.
Yep, 45-42. No, 45. No,
Instant-
44
Instant
to 42.
classic, ranking number 1. I'd assume in your on your.
No,
profile.
I've had some dang good games, man.
Yeah, I would assume. I love that Road to Glory. Cannot wait for the NCAA football game to come back. Hopefully, we're still doing the show when this comes back, and maybe we could even live stream us playing together.
Oh, I'll dog on you, buddy.
Well, I'd love to see it.
You know it happened.
I'd love to see it. Maybe we'll do maybe in the future when the game comes out. It's just us talking right now, okay? Just for anybody listening, because we're an hour and 3 minutes into the show. You know,
if you made it this far, we appreciate it.
If you made it this far,
because you've heard some dumb stuff tonight.
Yeah, this has been a every week for us is a very interesting go, because with the chemistry between us, we make some inside jokes for both of us. The Jeff Brome one, a little bit of an inside joke for us if you're listening. There's been some other ones tonight that are a little bit of an inside joke as well. That's the kind of thing you're going to get with two brothers that run a college football show together, though. And maybe when the game comes out, we Twitch and YouTube live stream us playing the game while also doing a show. I think that would be an interesting little content piece to do.
As long as I'm not losing guys, as long as the controllers aren't flying, had the boys over the other night. We were all playing NCAA football 12. Good classic throwback. Had my buddy Sam, shout out Sam for throwing the controller across the room, losing to my buddy Garrett, who, was out of sorts to say the least. Lost to him, like he just quit. And after the first quarter, it was like 23-zip. Garrett and I have been playing every day at the college we go to. in the lounge because I got a nice Xbox 360 down there. Appreciate you guys.
Does it have NCAA 14?
No, but I'm about to buy it.
That's $100 game, bro.
About to buy it for 10.
Where?
Good old shout out Nate. Nate Spall got it.
Spoggy has it, and he's not playing it.
Bro has no clue how much it's worth.
Does
Told
he
him
know
I'd
what
give
he
him $10.
has? We're talking
Nope.
about this live. Hopefully Nate doesn't watch, but
Nah, thank goodness he doesn't. He doesn't have time for any of that.
that's I mean,
Got a new girlfriend, cheat on his ex. Anyways, on to Troy versus WKU.
We'll leave relationship drama out of this show.
Yep. Disclaimer. All right. Troy, 2-2 program, had a nice tough battle with App State, ended up taking a loss on that. Western Kentucky 3-1, WKU 6
Tough way
favorites.
to lose. Troy lost in a very tough way.
WKU 6-point favorites here after 73-0 over an FIU. I got Western Kentucky big.
I got Western Kentucky on an alternate spread, winning by 12 or more.
I like that. Yeah.
That's what I'm taking. Just to be fun. Why not?
Yep.
I could be wrong. They could lose this game, and then I could go 1-12 this week.
All I know is
that would be terrible.
I'm gonna look like a beast after this week in these picks. You kind of disagree with me on a bunch of these because obviously I'm a smart man. You are not. So, some personal jabs here and there, man.
Fade me again this week.
Actually, I wouldn't, guys. He has some good picks.
I thought that last week, and I went 1-7.
Now, when it comes to Iowa State, boys, let's roll on that Kansas train. Let's everybody hop on. Hey, they take a loss. We'll dip down in the water real quick. We'll drown. We'll get waterboarded. We'll come right back up.
Jeez.
We'll come right back up.
I don't know if you come back up from being waterboarded. I don't know if I've ever heard of that.
Hey, listen, man, they're just playing with their food a little bit. Kansas is gonna mess around, look like, oh man, they're soft. Kansas gonna come out, pop, 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 uppercut. No, it is. Little uppercut, jab into the gut. Shout out Garrett. Buddy Garrett, boxer now, big boxing guy.
Well, we will see how those picks go. I'll be intrigued next week to see what our combined record would be for the year. We'll give updates. We'll figure this show. This show is a work in progress still. Again, oh, my camera just went out of focus. There we go. Right at the end. It went out of focus right at the end.
Nah, it's been out of focus looking at you all night.
Shut up. All right, we'll get this show out on the road. Appreciate you guys watching. If you've watched this far, 2 people stayed for the whole show. That's fantastic. I appreciate you guys.
Yeah,
but yeah, it's been great. Enjoy this show. If you would like to, and we would greatly appreciate it. This podcast is really only on Spotify right now. So if you'd download the Spotify episodes, that would be fantastic. It would really help us out. Give us a 5-star rating on Spotify because you can do that now. Oh, little hiccup there. That took me out. But
hey, boys, we're taking you on a nice little ride through college football every week. We're like that Uber driver. 5 stars, baby. You know how it is.
Exactly. 5 stars. Help us out. All right. We appreciate it, though. Hope you guys enjoyed the show. I know we did. This was a longer one for us. We're going to try to trim this down next week.
Yeah, we'll try.
Try to trim this down next week because
Listen. If you guys listen back, you know what the issue is. You know what the issue is.
I get sidetracked. That's why my other show also runs about an hour and a half. The Jared Barnes Show. If you watch that, filming it tomorrow night. We'll be out Wednesday. Check it out there. Right here on the YouTube channel. Same place you just watched this. But we appreciate it. Check it out on Spotify too, Jared Barnes Show. Check this show out on Spotify, though, the Barnes Brothers College Football Show. And right here on YouTube. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't. Like the video. We appreciate it. We love your guys' support. You guys are the absolute best. I don't get to say it enough. Thank you guys so much for the support and listening to the show. We appreciate it. We will see you next week. Peace. Didn't let your salute get in there. Sorry.
Yeah, I hate to see it.